Joining me tonight on Newsnight to provide insight into the deepening crisis within the political party PDP, including the wave of expulsions and counter-expulsions currently rocking the main opposition party, are Ememobong. He's the National Publicity Secretary, PDP. He's joined by Ukpai, Ukairo, who is the he tells me he's the formal zonal legal advisor, PDP Southeast. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the news tonight.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Let me begin with you, Mr. Ukairo, because you did say I should address you as a formal zonal legal advisor, PDP Southeast. I want to begin by asking you, what happened today? I mean, your political party barely has 8 states under its fold or its umbrella, no pun intended. And then you have counter-expulsions, including 3 of those 8 states of sitting governors by those who have been expelled by a controversial convention. It's a lot to understand. It's a lot coming from the PDP, but what happened today?
Well, what happened today is that a group of political, and I mean it with every deep conviction, gangsters invaded the PDP secretariat. Why do I address them that way?
Who exactly are you addressing them? Because they were counter groups today.
No. The 2 governors, Governor Shea Makinde and Governor Bala, headed group of gangsters and invaded the party office, led by somebody they are describing as chairman of the PDP. Why do I say so? Let's go back a little. 31st October 2021, Professor Ayo executive was elected. They stayed till 9 December 2021, at the end of the tenure of the then existing executive, and then came and they now assumed the position as the lawful executive of PDP at the national level. Now, let's give in everything and say there was a lawful convention. The tenure of the Executive National Working Committee will end by 9 December. Does it mean if a governor is in seat and there's an election to elect a governor, the governor is elected, he now storms the government has to take over? That's not the procedure. There's a procedure. You should wait until that day, the termination of the tenure. The PDP constitution says, Article 47, that all national office for a term of 4 years. It's so clear. So when you now claim you held a convention 72 hours ago and you now moved in to take over, that's gangsterism. And that's what we have suffered in PDP for the past 1 year plus when this crisis started. Everything has been done to undermine the political foundation of PDP, which is founded on 3 documents: the Constitution, the Electoral Act, and the PDP Constitution. Can the same be said of the other group? I mean, today they had a purported INEC and BOT meeting and expelled. Because your party constitution also gave grounds for expelling members. Because they are still the sitting National Working Committee members. Their tenure will expire 9th December. So they still have lawful powers to sit, exercise those powers, and take decisions.
I know you came prepared. You came with the Nigerian Constitution, the Electoral Act, and your party constitution. But your party constitution does say that you should give 51-day notice thereabouts to expel members. They announced that expulsion today. That was not 51 days notice. Assuming that they are still legal.
The thing is that they are lawfully in office.
Okay, all right.
And once they are lawfully in office, they exercise the powers of a lawful body in office.
To disregard your party constitution?
They didn't disregard the party constitution. It is now for those people now to present themselves if they so wish.
Okay.
But you know what they did in Ibadan, calling it to a convention, is the very, very destruction of the foundation of what they believe, and they cannot be judged based on their belief or subscription to the party constitution.
Mr. INEC, I see that you're restless to come into this conversation. You were produced by the controversial Ibadan Convention. What is your response?
Well, the first thing is that my learned friend would agree that the convention is the highest decision-making body. I take him back to history, which would now attempt, if he attempts to leave that, would show some disparity. We went for a convention in 2016 in Port Harcourt, and this type of scenario occurred. Never in this constitution was a caretaker provided for. But the convention sat in Port Harcourt and said, in the circumstance where there are multiple court judgments and we cannot hold a convention, they set up a caretaker. It was not here. This constitution also recognizes the convention as the highest law and says that every bill that passes through it, because first, for convention to be convoked, you must have 2/3 majority of people who are there. Now, so we shift that aside. Let my learned friend show me where in his own constitution, in case my own is different, where SEC has the capacity, SEC and BOT has the capacity to discipline. It can only make rules for discipline. Only a convention can discipline. Let him show me in his own, not my own. Just in case we are carrying different constitutions. And so, to refer to governors who have suffered to keep this party, not about now. I mean, I may have issues with some of the people he speaks for, but I would never disregard the sufferings they had in the past, which is why I'm very careful in dragging the FCT minister, because time was it when all of us were in the trenches and were facing this. And these people, all of the people, including the Anyanwus, we all suffered the same thing. That interest and some things have led to people, but it is very unfortunate that you call them gangsters. Now, let him show me here the duty of the secretary under this constitution, the one he's holding, makes that office subject to the chairman. He says the secretary shall consult the chairman in the exercise of his duties. His own.
Mr. Ukpai?
And who is the chairman? The Damagui is no longer the chairman. The secretary consulted a lawful chairman who is the acting chairman and who was in this meeting.
Damagui is no longer the chairman because a national convention.
No, because he resigned and abdicated his position. And that is what now fueled them to try this forcible takeover with somebody who emerged in a convention that does not exist. There was a lawful court order stopping that convention. INEC did not monitor that convention. And by the political parties regulation by INEC, INEC shall monitor. The Electoral Act says may, INEC now said they shall. And you know that PDP has never held a convention where INEC stayed away. So for INEC to stay away in this one is a red flag, meaning that there is something wrong. And that thing that is wrong is that the National Secretary never communicated to INEC that there was going to be a convention. And he said so, he has said so in public, he has said so in private, he has communicated so to press and everybody. And yet they went to Ibadan and now said the Electoral Act uses may. But what does the...
Section 82 subsection 2 of the Electoral Act says
now,
may.
what does the Constitution say? Let me read to you what the Nigerian Constitution says on it. It says shall. It says the Commission shall have power to.
What section of the Constitution?
I'm reading the Schedule F.
Okay.
Schedule F of the Constitution, which provides the powers of, and says, paragraph 15 there says, the Commission shall have power to, it goes on to, monitor the organization and operation of political parties, including finances, conventions, congresses, and party primaries. Shall. Then Electoral Act uses may, and then in Rule 14 of the guideline, INEC now said that it shall monitor. The reason why INEC said that is because it has to ensure that political parties conform with the Constitution, with the Electoral Act, with their Constitution and the guideline. And that's why the same guideline gives power that INEC, that on receipt of, let me just land please, let me land this point. This National Secretary, in giving notice to INEC for a convention, must attach the guidelines, the Constitution, and the committee members and all those. Look at even that letter they pandy about. There's no reference to such thing. He never wrote it. So that thing that happened there, where my learned friend emerged, a fine gentleman, very good on his own level, is a non-existent convention. And that is why, now, if you emerge a national chairman, why do you need governors to lead you to party national office? Why do you need governors with a plethora of policemen?
Are they not members of the party?
They led him. There's a difference of accompanying or working with. They led him. They brought him in. And he now, a Turaki senior advocate, say he went to the police, FCT police, to come and lead him to. These are all contraptions designed to continue to paint a picture that the Anyanwu part of the PDP, which is a lawful PDP, is not.
You know,
and
it does sound, Mr. Ukpai, it sounds like a lot of illegality on illegality. But Mr. Ini, please let him come in. Mr. Ini, respond to the allegations he has made.
So let's go back to the foundation. The secretary,
and very quickly, please.
Yeah, the secretary, by this constitution, is made that the exercise of the functions of his office is subject to consultation with the chairman. At the time both of them signed the document for the convention at the INEC meeting, which was monitored by INEC, Anyanwu indicated and actually signed. Away from that, served in a committee and wrote a proposal requesting for money. Number two, even by the office they are claiming, the big signpost there is an evidence of the convention, and they have no qualms with that thing. The documents for the convention, leading to the convention and all those things, midway, they have valid complaints of, oh, we wanted to be this, interest. And the party constitution which we uphold insists that we should exhaust internal arbitrative means. Ask him what internal arbitrative means they did. They have an approach that it is either my way or the highway. So ask him seated here that INEC has replied to a letter written by the people he recognizes when they wrote asking for Ekiti Congress to be postponed. INEC wrote to them on the 10th of November.
And monitored the Congress.
And monitored.
Yes.
That clearly shows that what you're doing is illegal. Now, assuming but not conceding that we don't want to stand logic on its head, a secretary who presided over the meeting that Anyanwu suspended the chairman, assuming that he wasn't suspended before then, who presided, Anyanwu is subject to, the chairman shall summon, or the chairman shall cause to be summoned. It is the chairman's directive to Anyanwu to summon. Anyanwu on his own, it is delegated authority. Anyanwu on his own cannot summon. Who summoned the meeting that Anyanwu could have removed Damagun? My dear friend, I have said, if a democracy will fail or work, lawyers, either lawyers as lawyers, lawyers as politicians, lawyers as judges, would be the problem. We see the truth, but we try to mask it. I will not say that all the things we have done have been right. But I will say that one of the things is when people have a perception that institutions of state are in the pockets of some people. Yeah. And that is why courts should refer political matters, leadership matters to arbitration, where my learned friend and I can discuss our interests instead of hiding under the law.
That's another conversation altogether. But I'd like to ask you, Mr. Ini, because the Wadata Plaza, which many have now said Wahala in our local parlance, Wahala Wadata, has become the battleground, as we've seen today. Yeah. And everybody got a fair share of tear gas from the Nigeria police. And our cameraman, by the way.
He wasn't there.
Well, when I talk about everybody, people on ground.
I was there. He wasn't.
I was there.
And not to lose focus, gentlemen. Fully. Journalists were harassed. Our cameraman in particular had his mobile phone stolen and beaten on the ground today. We also hear of colleagues in other stations who sustained injuries. Yeah. My question really about Wahala Wadata is, who is in control of Wahala Wadata House as we speak, Mr. Ini?
Okay, so let's go to this. I just heard from your report that it's been sealed by police. We are law-abiding people. But let's just go back a little. This morning, a sister television station carried the news where Anyanwu said that he invited the police to deal with intruders, clearly knowing that he was lacking in power and capacity. Now, and in the whole incidents that happened today, the police have now confirmed what he said. But yesterday we went to we didn't ask the police to lead us. We simply informed them that, look, we have been newly elected. We are going to hold our first meeting of the NWC. Yeah. And since it's going to be ceremonial, we are going to have governors, we are going to have senators, we are going to have... He was just talking about Governor Fred Agbedi was there. We are going to have an assemblage of stakeholders, to see the first time we are getting into office. But that we've also heard that our friend and brother Anyanwu has issued a statement purporting to convene INEC, which he should admit that INEC cannot be convened except INEC will attend. He should admit that. And with INEC's letter of 10th of November, they didn't even write to INEC. And so we went there. By the time we issued that statement, they said their meeting was going to be for 2. We
11 and 2.
We went there by 11, only to find out that the police barricaded, the police and some non-state actors barricaded the place and refused party leaders entry. I mean, even if we're quarreling, like I met him here, I shook his hands. Even if we're quarreling, there's no way Governor Bala, Governor Makinde would meet Anyanwu and begin to throw blows.
Okay.
But when you bring elements in between, today may have even been an opportunity to reconcile.
All right.
But we were attacked. The tear gas were made on us.
My last question to Mr. Ukairo as we wrap up. Critics are accusing the Wike camp, which you're part of, obviously, of destabilizing the PDP, and that's the end goal.
Certainly no. It is rather the other way.
So how do you justify your staying in a party that doesn't want you by expelling you?
No, there are those, you see, they want to destroy the PDP. Today, I can say with all authority that PDP remains the only political platform that is espousing liberal democracy in accordance with the 1999 Constitution. Therefore, it's a platform that should be preserved. And those who are fighting to preserve it are the Wike camp who want PDP to remain alive.
Gentlemen, we have to go.
Just one last one.
We have to go.
How can he belong to a camp that his leader says he's supporting the president? And the whole reason PDP, excuse me, sir, the whole reason PDP is existing currently is to put up candidates in all. This constitution says we'll put up candidates in all offices. His leader says he will support the president. How does that tie into the general belief and desire of PDP?
It does.
How?
Except from
Gentlemen,
a perspective
this conversation will continue, but not on this set on Newsnight tonight. But we do thank you for your maturity and for being here.
He's my in-law.
Ememobong is the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, and Ukairo is the former Zonal Legal Advisor, PDP Southeast. Thank you for being on Newsnight. We wish the PDP the best.